by congratulating you on your assumptions of the presidency of the Council for the month of October. I wish to express our appreciation for convening today's important meeting. We are also thankful to the Special Representative of the Secretary General, Mr. Tom Kunix, for his detailed briefing. I should also like to express my delegation's appreciation to the Secretary General for his recent report on Afghanistan, which offers a comprehensive overview of the overall situation in the country. Mr. President, less than a month ago, we gathered in the special high-level meeting on Afghanistan, co-hosted by the Secretary General and His Excellency President Karzai prior to the general debate of the 62nd session of the United Nations General Assembly. The meeting, which brought together foreign ministers and senior representatives of the 22 member states of the GCMB and various international organizations, was another opportunity to assess ways of enhancing greater coordination of international efforts for strengthening peace, stability, and development in Afghanistan. We were pleased with the outcome of the meeting, which gave testimony to the overwhelming consensus among member states on the need to keep Afghanistan among the top priorities of the international community and the United Nations. We also welcome the unity with which participants reiterated the need for improved strategic coordination in 4 key areas of security, counter-narcotics, regional cooperation, and governance. Such coordination will be fundamental for achieving a vision of a peaceful and stable Afghanistan. Mr. President, significant gains have been made in Afghanistan since the signing of the Bonn Agreement 6 years ago. Thanks to the support of this Council and other partners in the international community, Afghanistan no longer serves as a base for international terrorists. Rather, it has become the front line from which countries have joined hands in the fight against terrorism. We have regained our legitimacy among the responsible members of the international community and continue to make steady progress in consolidating our democratic institutions. At the same time, we should not lose sight of the fact that daunting challenges continue to face a stable and prosperous Afghanistan. This is why we continue to focus on defeating terrorism and improving security, strengthening the rule of law and governance, enhancing the reconstruction process, and eliminating the menace of narcotics as our top priorities. Terrorism stands forefront among our challenges. Recent events of the past 2 weeks are a clear illustration of the ongoing campaign of the enemies of peace in Afghanistan aimed at destabilizing the situation. In their most recent acts of sheer brutality, terrorists carried out suicide bombings in the frontier town of Spin Boldak and in the Afghan capital, targeting civilians and members of the National Army and police. At least 80 civilians lost their lives in suicide attacks in September. The carnage was a stark reminder of the continuing challenge facing the people of Afghanistan to live in peace and security. Additional attacks have come in the form of increased use of sophisticated explosive devices, abductions and intimidation, daily attacks on school, health centers, government officials, and humanitarian aid workers. Terrorists have also resorted to the brutal tactic of using human shells during counter-terrorism operations, which constitutes the main cause of loss of civilian life. I should like to reaffirm here that such heinous acts will in no way weaken our resolve to achieve our stated goals. That is why our security forces continue to serve in the most difficult of conditions alongside forces of our international partners to consolidate security throughout the country and stop the explosion of violence. Over recent months, we have made substantial progress in weakening the command and control structure of the terrorist networks in Afghanistan. Joint combat operations by Afghan and international forces resulted in the capture and elimination of an unprecedented number of commanders of the Taliban and extremists. As a case in point, the death of Mullah Akhtar Usmani and Mullah Dadullah at the beginning of this year were among numerous achievements in the fight against terrorism. In this regard, we remain concerned over the increased use of foreign extremist elements in the campaign of terror against our people. Mr. President, we have also taken action to strengthen the sanctions regime against terrorists in accordance with the Security Council Resolution 1267. Just last month, Sirajuddin Haqqani, the mastermind behind numerous suicide bombings in various parts of the country, was enlisted in the consolidated list of the 1267 committee at the request of the Afghan government. Mr. President, improving overall security in Afghanistan is dependent on a variety of factors. Ensuring a fully efficient and operational national army and police is vital to our fight against terrorism. Despite substantial progress in reforming our security institutions and increasing the size of our national army and police, we call for a continued assistance for enhancing the training and strengthening of our security forces. Meanwhile, it has also become evident that addressing terrorism and improving security in Afghanistan will not be achieved by military means alone. While the military campaign remains an important pillar in the fight against terrorism, we must also redouble our efforts in all aspects of a comprehensive strategy to achieve long-term security and stability. We must focus more on expediting the delivery of basic services and creating employment opportunities through large-scale reconstruction and development projects to bring real change in the life of our citizens. In doing so, we will prevent the possibility of subversive elements enjoying local sympathies. In this regard, we call on our international partners to ensure greater military coordination with Afghan security forces during combat operations to prevent loss of civilians' lives during counter-terrorism operations. All measures must be implemented to avoid harm to civilians during armed hostilities. Furthermore, more must be done to address terrorism across regional and international dimensions. The presence of terrorist infrastructure outside Afghanistan's territory is a source of continuing concern to Afghanistan and the region. As it was stated by His Excellency President Karzai during his address in the General Assembly debate of 62nd, and I quote, "May I emphasize that we are the prime victim of terrorism and that terrorism was never, nor is it today, a homegrown phenomenon in Afghanistan. Therefore, this threat can only be overcome if addressed across its regional and international dimensions. Consistent with our expressed belief in the past, we remain convinced that tolerating the presence of sanctuaries and terrorist infrastructure will only broaden the scope of terrorism." End of quote. As part of the initiatives to ensure long-term stability, Afghanistan continues to focus on reconciliation as a measure to encourage non-terrorist Taliban to refrain from subversive activities and join the process of building a prosperous Afghanistan. Such measures are taking place within the framework of national reconciliation, are welcomed by our people. In this regard, we are working with the 1267 Committee of the Security Council to update and improve the quality of the consolidated list. Mr. President, regional cooperation is indispensable for success in our efforts to achieve peace and stability in Afghanistan. There is a greater consensus in our neighborhood on the notion that a peaceful and stable Afghanistan will serve as a precondition for the security and prosperity of all countries in the region. This year, we maximized our efforts to consolidate relations with our neighbors and the wider region in areas of security, trade, investment, border cooperation, and counter-narcotics. The convening of the 6th meeting of the GCMB in Kabul on the 3rd October was an important step in this regard. As a country that once served as a land bridge connecting cultures, countries, and civilizations, Afghanistan is surely but gradually reassuming its role in promoting trade and development in the region. In this regard, I am pleased to announce that we are preparing to host the upcoming international meeting of Ministers of Foreign Affairs of the Economic Cooperation Organizations, ECO, in the city of Herat on the 19th of this month. This will be the first international gathering to be held in one of Afghanistan's historic provinces. The recently convened Afghanistan-Pakistan Jirga just over a month ago was the most recent among numerous initiatives by Afghanistan to strengthen cooperation between the two countries to jointly address the threat of terrorism in Afghanistan and the region. We have every reason to believe that the Assembly will yield the anticipated results. We also look forward to the second session of the Jirga to be held in Pakistan in the near future. Another major challenge is narcotics. A combination of factors have attributed to why this menace remains a concern to Afghanistan and the international community. It has become evident that eliminating the scourge of narcotics from our society and the region is an endeavor unattainable by Afghanistan alone. Real progress towards reduction and elimination requires a more robust effort from the transit and consuming countries. Greater focus should also be given to break the link between production, trafficking of illegal drugs, and financing of terrorist activities. Mr. President, in adopting the Afghanistan Compact, we committed to a second phase of cooperation with our international partners to consolidate our achievements. Having reached a turning point in the effort to achieve a stable and prosperous Afghanistan, the time has come for us to redouble our focus on the implementation of the Compact. Additional measures are necessary if we are to ensure meeting the goals of the Compact by designated timelines. In this context, we highlight the need to exert greater effort for improving the effectiveness, accountability, and utilization of the development assistance. While expressing gratitude to our international partners for their assistance to Afghanistan, we emphasize the need to ensure delivery of pledges in a timely manner. Also essential is the need for increased financial assistance for achieving our development goals. If we are to accomplish tangible results across key pillars of the Compact, we must ensure greater coordination of international assistance to Afghanistan. We call on our international partners to increase their level of coordination and cooperation among themselves and with the Afghan government. Enhanced coordination will result in greater unity of assessment, unity of approach, and unity of action. In this regard, we commend the United Nations Assistance Mission to Afghanistan for its continuing commitment to implement effective coordination of the international community's efforts with Afghanistan. We are also thankful to the Council for its adoption of the Security Council Resolution 1776, extending the mandate of the International Security Assistance Forces for an additional year. In this regard, allow me to express our appreciation to all those countries that have committed troops and resources to ISAF for the consolidation of peace and stability in Afghanistan. Afghanistan greatly values the ongoing role of the United Nations in the effort to secure peace and stability in the country. We welcome the expansion of UNAMO's presence to additional parts of the country as a clear sign of the United Nations' effort to reach out to various parts of the country. I would like to to also seize this opportunity to express my delegation's appreciation to the Secretary General for his personal engagement and commitment to improve the situation in Afghanistan, as illustrated by his visit to Kabul in the month of June and initiative to convene the high-level meeting on Afghanistan on the 23rd of September. I would like to express gratitude to our international partners for their ongoing commitment to Afghanistan. We remain confident that together we will fulfill our commitment, our common vision of a peaceful, democratic, and prosperous Afghanistan. In conclusion, I would like to pay a special tribute to Mr. Tom Kunix for his tireless effort during his tenure in Afghanistan as Special Representative of the Secretary General. We wish him every success in his future endeavors. Thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the representative of Afghanistan for his statement. The next speaker inscribed on my list is a representative of Portugal.
Thank you, Mr. President. For the purpose of efficiency and in order to save time, I will shorten my oral statement today. The full text has been distributed. I have the honor to speak on behalf of the European Union. The candidate countries Turkey, Croatia, and the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, the countries of the Stabilization and Association process and potential candidates, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, Serbia, Albania, as well as Ukraine, the Republic of Moldova, Georgia and Armenia, aligned themselves with this declaration. Mr. President, with the support of the international community, Afghanistan has achieved significant progress in recent years, which was also confirmed on the occasion of the recent high-level meeting held at the United Nations on the 23rd of September. But indeed, serious challenges threatening to undermine achievements to date remain. We share the concern of the Secretary General at the many issues that present challenges to the short and long-term security and stability of Afghanistan, which have not yet been resolved. In his earlier reports to the Council, the Secretary General expressed concern at increasing trends in violence and challenges to state authority. We recognize the central role played by the UN in promoting peace and stability in Afghanistan by leading the efforts of the international community and thus contributing for Afghanistan not being alone, facing its current manifold challenges. In this context, we welcome the adoption of Security Council Resolution 1776 on the 19th of September, renewing the mandate of the International Security Assistance Force, and Resolution 1746 of 23rd of March 2007, which extended the United Nations Assistance Mission mandate. We would like to take this opportunity to commend UNAMA under the excellent leadership of the Special Representative of the Secretary General, Mr. Tom Kunix. Mr. President, the International Security Assistance Force led by NATO since August 2003 has been crucial in improving security, initially in Kabul and later through its program of phased expansion in the north, west, south and east of the country. To that effect, we recognize the importance of the increasing the effective functionality, professionalism and accountability of the Afghan security sector to provide long-term solutions to security in Afghanistan. The European Union expresses its concern with intensified Taliban-led insurgency. Taliban and insurgent groups continue to prevent full security in a number of areas, while rates of insurgent and terrorism violence are higher than in 2006, and criminal and drug gangs continue to grow. We are deeply concerned with the expansion of opium poppy cultivation by 17% and potential opium production by 34%.